Welcome back to your latest industry recap. Some exciting news for Australian flag carrier Qantas, who are expanding their network, an A330neo order, and 777 retirement updates. Want to begin with Qantas confirming it will significantly boost flying to New Zealand from multiple cities in Australia across the upcoming summer schedule. The increases will represent a 20% jump from December 2025 through to early January 2026, with ramp-ups in response to the demand that is being seen. The Australian flag carrier says the additional flights will enable greater choice for customers who are travelling across the Tasman during the summer peak holiday period. Around 60,000 additional seats will be provided, allowing for a staggering 3.3 million seats to be available, supporting tourism and growth between the neighbouring countries. While Qantas is emphasising overall capacity ramp-up, there will also be adjustments in the aircraft utilisation to better support demand across some of the more busiest cities. The company confirmed that the 787 will be soon introduced on the Brisbane to Auckland route, which will increase your premium seat choices by 80% with the introduction of premium economy on the sector. Qantas says the 787s will operate thrice weekly from August, and in line with the strong demand, this will increase to daily 2 months later in October. The adjustment with the Dreamliner represents the second service with this aircraft type between the two countries, thanks to the airline's existing QF3, QF4 flight that obviously continues onwards to New York. Sydney will be part of the expansion, with a focus on growth towards New Zealand's most important cities during these 2 months. The flag carrier confirming that up to 6 additional flights every week between Sydney and Auckland will be offered, representing a 16% increase. Meanwhile, Sydney to Christchurch will also see a 47% rise thanks to 7 additional flights. Sydney to Wellington will be the last from this capital city, with 5 additional flights, a 31% increase. Qantas's attention next turns to Melbourne, where service improvements will be visible to Auckland, with 7 additional flights to be offered, representing a 23% increase. Melbourne's service to Christchurch will see 3 additional flights. This is a 26% increase in capacity, and Queenstown will double with 2 extra flights. Lastly on the list is Brisbane, with flights to Queenstown increasing the most out of everything by approximately 75%. This is with 3 more flights on a weekly basis during some, again, of your busier periods. Over to the next story. That's it with Airbus, who have secured another order for their A330neo program, with Vietnamese-based Vietjet increasing their commitment to the series. The newest deal means the budget carrier will have 40 total A330neos, 20 units being added to an existing order of 20 which was placed last year. Vietjet's newest purchase is part of a plan to prepare for future decades, with a great emphasis on meeting demand and ensuring that aircraft deliveries remain a present part of the business moving forward. As delivery slots for several aircraft programs begin to be snapped up, securing purchases of planes such as the A330neo at the very least assures that the planes will be arriving in the future to support global network expansion. Vietjet is targeting the use of these A330neos on a wide array of routes, with no genuine limitations in place for target markets, and European services are also looking at being launched for some time in the future too. In the short to medium term, however, these planes will help boost flying to markets across the Asia Pacific, which are not only highly competitive but also continue to show solid signs of growth that Vietjet feels it should be able to pounce on. For Airbus, the latest purchase of their A330neo is a testament to the product that they're offering to their airline customers, which is now more than ever beginning to really be a hit. When the A330neo launched, it did so with the knowledge that thousands of orders were not required to break even on the program. However, despite this, certainly progress on new commercial aircraft orders was slow, and during the pandemic we were seeing more cancellations than orders, some doubts creeping in about how this plane would really be a success in the long term. As a result, what the A330neo program did have on its side was the youthful age of the A330ceo. See, when the new engine option launched, the jet it was intended to be a like-for-like replacement for was still young, with many airlines and these operators not necessarily seeking a replacement. The A330neo a gamble to try and rival the 787 at that point, and also understanding that at some point airlines would say goodbye to their A330ceos and look for a replacement. The wide body has been able to capitalise on fleet renewal efforts and the desire from some operators for a more modest mid-sized wide-body aircraft to join their operation, and something that they are very much familiar with. Over the past few years, the program has secured a substantial number of new orders from major international airlines, and the backlog has really continued to expand, a huge positive for the series, and this is certainly visible through Vietjet's latest commitment and the many other airlines that have expressed public interest but are yet to officially act on it. Over to the final story. Japan Airlines has said farewell to another Boeing 777-300ER as part of efforts to renew its fleet and focus on more efficient aircraft. JA731J, a 777-300ER, which was the second test aircraft for this series before being delivered to the Japanese carrier in 2004, was pulled from service on the 27th of May. The planned retirement marks the continued effort that is being undertaken to phase out the 777 fleet in a bid to move towards some of your efficient wide-body planes that will help power Japan Airlines for many decades to come. This also represents the second 777-300ER to be retired from their operation, which consisted of 13 units, now down to 11. First aircraft to be retired was JA734J, delivered in July 2005 and retired in August 2024, after completing quite the lengthy operation. Although the first to be retired, the most recent JA731J axing, this being the oldest unit, that was given its history with Boeing as a test aircraft before it was then pulled into service with the Japanese company across their network. Japan Airlines, since beginning service with the 777, has leveraged the range and capacity to service many international markets, and saw the plane as the perfect opportunity to move away from your larger, less efficient types such as the 747. The retirement of the 777-300ER is also something that's been long documented within the Japan Airlines business, as they move towards a reliance on the Airbus A350-1000, the newest Airbus wide-body plane, which comes equipped with high capacity and a healthy range, is considered by Japan Airlines to be the like-for-like replacement to the 777-300ER. However, on several occasions, the airline has confirmed that it's been forced to postpone the retirement of the 777, as it had maybe initially intended, this as it battles many aircraft delivery delays. Aviation Wire reported in early 2025 that the airline was facing deliveries that were out of sync, which meant the company was facing challenges in combating this issue. Although the knock-on effects were not expected to be, say, significant, they still necessitated more thorough planning in the times moving forward. The equation remains very simple. As more A350-1000s are delivered, more of your 777-300ERs can begin being phased out, with the Airbus widebody then eventually being deployed to more in-demand locations in due course. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Do take care, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow for your latest industry recap.
And we'll fly.